but I want you to say it so people know I wasn't making it up. About that story about the phone and the wealthy people that you was at. And then the whole conversation from that will be some unwritten rules that you've experienced around the wealthy.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really, I think this really underpins a principle of association. And so what that means is that, again, wealthy people, to be wealthy, you must have the right associations. And that association has what I call it as the invincible sort of rules, right? These expectation, etiquette things, right? So there's a few things. I'll share a couple of those actually. So one of those is phone, right? So being around the table and talking, you make eye contact, you eat together, you share things, and you get involved in the conversation. So you don't speak when someone else is speaking, right? Everyone takes turn to really, essentially make their full point, right? Speaking over someone, normally what happens is that in any conversation, when someone speaks over someone else, actually you have to raise your voice. If you think about it, you have to raise your voice to be heard. And in certain settings and stuff like that, that could be viewed as very rude, uneducated and stuff like that. So you wait till someone's finished saying what they're saying and then you go and then you say your point. That's a very common thing that I see around. I've noticed any around people that I would say are, of sort of a higher class. Another thing is mobile phones. Now, if you look at different social classes, if you like, perhaps lower classes, I've seen this again with my own eyes. Well, myself and my family been out there, and you see people, and it's like mum, dad, or kids, or whatever. Everyone's on your phone. They're not communicating. They're probably texting each other. Who knows? But it's sat right there. Such a terrible habit, right? It's awful. And again, being of certain places, if you did that, people literally, when someone's talking and stuff like, you go on your phone, they will stop speaking. They will literally zip their mouth, look at you, and you'll be like, oh, why have you stopped talking? And it's like unconsciously, when you hear silence, you go, what's happening here? Because you need that background noise. And then as soon as you realize what's going on, you put the phone down, and they'll just literally continue the conversation like nothing happened, right? It's literally like freeze, unfreeze, and everyone just keeps going. It's one of those things. I've seen that happen many times. Believe you me, I've made that mistake. That mistake a few times as well. Another thing, just general things like eating with your mouth open, or again, that's just more. I don't really think this is like this will make you wealthy. For example, this is more of like being perhaps more of a formal, slightly formal social environment and stuff. But if you're hanging out with your boys and stuff, I don't think that's really a problem. But again, these things are all like etiquette and stuff. The last thing I'll say about it was just I went to a private club with some friends, and they were playing golf, and we were walking from one sort of hole to the other. We were walking, and I was talking, and next to us there was like another group of people and stuff, and then they were playing. And what I didn't know, for example, on a golf course, is when someone's about to putt and obviously hit the ball and stuff like that. If someone's just about to get into that, you have to stop walking. You can't walk. Hand on my heart. You just wait. Once they finish their shot, then you can walk.
Okay.
There is no rule. I never read it anywhere, but you can't do that, right? You can't laugh too loud. There's just weird rules and stuff.
When you're doing the putt.
100%. Hand on my heart. This is somewhere in Surrey. I went with some friends and stuff like that. And every single time, so we were walking and we saw a guy was about to make a shot. We stopped. I kept on walking. My friend just tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, shh, you can't do it. I was like, what? What's this about? And he's like, Freddie, shh. I was like, mate, what are you talking about? He's like, Freddie, shh. And eventually I was like, okay. So we got back to the country house where the bars and they did the food bit. And I was like, what was that about? And he explained it to me. And I was like, oh, right. And the reason, and all of these stuff, right, is that it's underpinned something. It's this discipline element, right? It's not that, it's got nothing to do with, speaking or out loud or being rude. They've got nothing to do with all that stuff. Wealthy people just discipline their time. They organize everything. They can wear the same clothes 1 billion times a day, if that's even possible. But what I'm trying to say. It's not about these outward stuff. They just focus more inward. That's really my point here. They are disciplined beings. You know, the way they communicate, the way they write, the way they keep their times and stuff like that. Everything feels like they just well guarded. They just very well organized. Where other people just seems like things are all over the place.
And the reason why I want you to mention that is because in another podcast with the guys, I was making the point that a lot, and what I've seen, there be a difference in the private school and the state school.
Yeah.
Is that in the state school, is almost like, don't give me any rules. I just don't tell me what. There's a fight against authority and rules, but I think what people miss in the state school is that in the private school, you're told don't do this, do this, and it sometimes seems even stricter than the state school. But the reason why is because with the rules, they're also telling you the reason why you should not talk with your mouth open is because one day you'll be eating in, I don't even know any famous restaurants, but you'll be eating in a famous restaurant, and the etiquette around there is da 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 da. The reason why you want to look sharp is because one day you'll be wearing Louis Vuitton, and you don't want to be wearing it like this. You got to be like, every rule that they have is connected to one day you're going to be in environments where these are the things you're going to have to get used to. Whereas in state schools, you don't have that. It's just do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. And so without the connection of one day I might need these, I might be playful with my friends, but one day I might be with Boris Johnson, and I can't act the same way as I do. And so these skills, they're skills. They're not just rules, they're skills. And I find a lot of private school kids understand that this is not just a sit here, don't do this. It's not a control thing. This is literally another skill set where I can learn how to adapt in different settings. And I feel like, I don't know if you would agree, but wealthy people do that well. They know how to not change who they are, but just adapt in different